So I wanted to do a quick video on the Blade Nano FPV QX2. And I had the original FPV QX, which was really good and it flew great. The issues I had with it were the little batteries didn't last very long, both in terms of flight time and endurance, so that I would buy the batteries and after 10 or 20 flights they would start to go soft, which, you know, was okay. I don't actually have my FPV one anymore, but I have my son Harry's FPV, the original Nano QX, which is the same size, so for comparison. So this is the new QX2, and it doesn't actually look very much bigger. If you just look at them from above, it's slightly bigger, but the main difference is the weight. The listed flying weight for the original FPV Nano QX was 18 grams. The new one is 52 grams, so it's nearly 3 times the weight, and you can definitely feel it when you have it in your hand. The differences obviously are it's got significantly bigger props. If I just hold them side by side, you can see those props are probably a third bigger, and also the motors are significantly bigger to match. So if you look at the motors side by side, you can see there's a big difference there. The nice things about it, it's got a tiltable camera, which means you can adjust that for forward flight, which is a really good idea. Also, it has a 25 milliwatt video transmitter, which is much better. I did a quick fly around the house, which I'll put at the end of this, and you can see, I'll link below to my original FPV QX video. You can see there's a big improvement in the quality of the video. The only niggles I have, one is the battery is a very, very tight fit. It came with a yellow warning sticker. I had to actually remove that just to get it in. And even with that out, the slot is very, very tight to get it. Almost to the point you're worried about damaging the shell in fitting it, which is just annoying. And the second thing is they've stuck with the, what I call the MCPX battery connector, which is really annoying when a JST connector will be much easier for charging and for connecting. The last thing is the battery connector. When you plug it on, the wire can interfere with this prop. If you look, that only has to stick out a bit and it touches, which is just silly. So when you're plugging the battery in, you just need to tuck that wire on top of the battery because the props are underneath now. So those are just niggles. If you want to use cheaper batteries, you could just change this connector for a JST, and you can fit the cheap, you get the cheap Hobby King Nanotech 600 milliamp batteries. These are actually a much better fit. They will slide in more easily than the original. They're slightly longer, so they do stick out of the back slightly, but just to compare, they do stick out the back slightly, but I think that will be fine for flying. I haven't changed connectors yet, so I'm not sure if I will. I suspect I probably will. But yeah, but I think it's a really good upgrade for indoor flying and for outdoors on a calm day. I think you'll be fine. The other improvement is the channel selection is now with a button on top, which is much easier than the old one where you had to actually pop the canopy off to get to the little button. Also, there's no exposed antenna. It's all inside the body shell, which I like too. The only other niggle I had with mine, which hopefully is a one-off, is that the clockwise black prop, that one was really loose. It fell off on my first flight, and then I put it back on and it didn't feel very tight, and I flew again and it fell off again and I've lost it. The spare, it comes with a spare set of props. The spare was a good snug fit, and that stayed on now for several flights. So I think that was just me being unlucky. I suspect they've over forced it on in the factory and it's just split or stretched the plastic molding. But hopefully that's a one-off. But if you have the same issue, just comment below. Anyway, I'll stick a quick flight now just to show how it flies. It's much more powerful. It literally will take off at let's just plug it in, I'll show you. Okay, so you can see it literally takes off at almost no throttle. You ready? So that's it up. So that's like a third stick, and it's got a lot more punch than the original Nano had. It's got a lot more punch, so yeah, it takes off at about a third stick, and it's got a lot more power than the original Nano had, so I think that's a really good improvement. Anyway, I hope that's useful.